Welcome to the Buried Dreams podcast. I'm your host, Elle Morris. This episode, we have George Barron, a friend and talented writer, director, and actor. I recently shared the pleasure of attending his movie premiere in London at the Fright Fest, and it was really cool to sit down and talk to him about his experiences with Hollywood and all of that. For artists, content, and news on the latest Buried Dreams, follow us on Instagram at Buried Dreams Podcast. Enjoy. Okay, so I did a reflection of your movie, and I kind of want to know if you're comfortable talking about the meaning of the movie since you're going to be distributing. I mean, how deep do you want to go about it?
Yeah, I can go
as deep as I want it to go.
Yes.
Perfect. Because I think that you had meaning behind it, and I could gather my meaning behind it, but I'm really interested to hear like little symbols you had in the movie that were consistent, like the meaning behind them and how they all fit together. And yeah.
Okay.
The movie is called The Blue Rose.
Yes, it is.
So you had the blue rose and you had the blue triangle, you had the blue eye drops, and I kind of wanted to know what the significance of blue was first, because you were talking about sadness and dreams, and I feel like blue to me can symbolize like sensitivity, imagination.
I think that like color in general is just like a huge part of like what makes the film what the film is.
It sets the tone.
Yeah, but also I don't want to be one of those people who are like, oh, like I have synesthesia, you know, where you like associate colors with like people or numbers with people or sounds with like colors and stuff like that. But for the film, I think like I definitely kind of relied on my own like intuition with like what colors I thought like certain characters like would be. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but like Dalton and Lily are like, you know, in their like they were green the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just
earthy
I don't know.
colors.
But yeah. But I think like blue is a really, it's just like you kind of said it yourself, like a dreamy
emotional color.
Yeah.
I also saw that you worked with like red to blue at the end. So the blue triangle and the blue eye drops and the blue rose, you kind of then transitioned to the red color with the singer character. And she was very sensual and sexy and had a Marilyn Monroe type energy about her. But she looked a little bit disillusioned. And I think amongst all the characters and even the theme of the entire movie kind of was based around disillusionment and maybe, you know, the romanticization of love and of people and being disappointed because of fears and hiding yourself. And, you know, it seemed like you were focusing on the two characters' worst nightmare.
Yeah.
And they were kind of afraid to show that side of themselves. And I mean, the movie kind of is like, to me, it felt like things that we're hiding of ourselves, our biggest fears, we hide from others. And these characters face their biggest fears in this hunt to find this other killer who is also living in her shadow. And it took me kind of a while to process, because there were so many different layers. It kind of felt like an Inception, like just so many different dream layers. And at the end, you're trying to like, you have to almost watch it again to understand every layer of it.
Yeah.
I would like to watch it again.
And you should do that whenever you can.
Yeah.
Whenever we get.
So I want to know what the meaning of the movie was to you, and like what the meaning was behind some of those symbols and things like that you used.
Yeah. I think like the meaning of the film to me is definitely very much that sort of like disillusionment aspect. And I'm like reluctant to like fully like go into like the way like certain things I feel about the film, because like ultimately the film was like an exercise in wanting to make this for an audience member to come up with their own conclusions, because that is so much more interesting to me than like spoon feeding it to somebody. And also, if I'm an audience member, like I want to watch a movie that has several interpretations and like things that like expect and we don't really know like the answer to. So I'm honestly more curious as to what you thought
The meaning of
symbols
this,
and the meanings
yeah.
of, like that I think is more important than like my interpretation.
Yeah, I feel like to get a full reflection where I can bring everything full circle, I have all of my ideas and like themes that I pulled from it, but I feel like I would need to watch it again and see how the characters' lives unfold and how they get to that nightmare aspect. And then I could really full circle reflect on it. So I definitely really can't wait to watch it again. It was a super great movie, but I did feel a lot of a David Lynch type influence with the leave it up to your own interpretation, doesn't have an ending per se. It's a mystery and it's up to the audience to decide what they want to believe from that. And I think a lot of people who watch movies, they want to have an ending and they want to see what happens next. And they don't want to feel like they have to think about it after. But there's those types of movies are the ones that a week later you're still like trying to unpackage. Right. And that's, if you just give everyone everything that they want to hear, then they got what they wanted, they're satisfied, and they forget about the movie. But it's those movies that kind of sit inside of you and you're like, okay, what the fuck just happened? Those are the ones that help you even reflect on yourself and like the little meanings throughout the film. There was one line that one of the actresses was talking about, hiding parts of ourselves. How did you come up with that theme, and does it have any personal meaning to you?
I think that like it's just like a very human thing to do. And I think that I like wanted like Lily and Dalton to feel like the most human characters in the film, and like the characters that we could like ground ourselves with when all like the kind of like crazy shit starts happening in the movie. Yeah, I think like everybody has parts about themselves that like they don't want anyone to know that they're unhappy with. I think it's almost always hard to talk about, or you feel like it's impossible to talk about because like you feel like nobody would understand. And so you like don't. And I think that can like definitely like build up and like manifest in like negative ways. I don't know.
Of course. And I also feel like as I've progressed through life, those things that I've been hiding have changed through time. So when I was 18, the things that I was hiding now are exposed and I'm comfortable to talk about. And the things at 28, they just kind of evolve through time. You work on one thing and then you overcome it. And then you find another thing, another pillar to overcome. And that's the beauty of growing up. I can't wait to see you in 10 years and see what you're doing and see how you are and just how you've developed through time. I think it's so incredible to see you at this age and doing what you're doing. And last night, the moderator, he was like, I can't imagine what you would be doing at 28. And that was one of the questions I had in my brain, like before we were going to do the podcast, is like, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And you said in the Q&A that you just want to be doing something creative. I mean, how did this whole creative inspiration, this whole creative path start? And like, how did you get to this point today?
The first film that I ever directed was when I was 3, and it was on
3 years old.
No. Listen. It was on photo booth on my computer, and I had a bunch of action figures, and I had like a Disney dream castle or some shit like that like you like buy at like Disney World, and I like, and you could like turn it and like spin it around. It was just like really cool. I think I made like a movie I like played all the parts and like moved around the action figures and shit. And like, I think it was like it's funny. It's actually really funny because I think it was like a time travel, like dimension hopping movie where I think like this like princess like kept like hopping dimensions and like realities until she just like came back to reality and like resumed her role as like a princess. But yeah, that was like I think I had like just gotten my very first computer, and then I like made it on fucking photo booth.
But was there anything that initiated this type of interest?
No.
Did you have family that were in like film or anything?
No.
You were just a prodigy.
I was just like this like fuck ass kid, like doing like the most like random shit. Like friends would come over, or like my cousins would come over. The activity I would always want to do is like make a movie. Like, do you guys want to make a movie? Like, let's make, and like we would like shoot it on like somebody's iPhone. Like we were like really little. Like we didn't have an iPhone. On iMovie, there was like you could make trailers, and you could like put certain shots into like the trailer scenes, whatever, and like we would like film like horror trailers, or we would film like action trailers or superhero like stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that was kind of just like the general start of it, but where I like really think like it all started was just like my love for theater, and I think like my parents like really cultivated that love.
How old were you when you started to take theater classes?
I was like pretty young. I think I was like 5, maybe. Yeah.
5 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always wanted to do theater growing up, but my parents wouldn't afford the classes. And by the time I got into high school, I moved to a new school at 16, and it was bigger, and they had a theater class. And I think I was in such an anxious teenager era that doing theater was so nerve-wracking to me. Like going up and doing a monologue, I would fucking eat shit, and everyone in the crowd was like, get this girl off the stage, save us from our discomfort.
I think actually really funny story, the Chattanooga Theater Center.
Oh my gosh, you know this. That's where I wanted to go.
They would never cast me in anything ever.
Yeah, they were very gatekeepy. And I was like, what the fuck, you guys? I was like, what is happening? And I remember I auditioned for A Christmas Story, the musical. Or maybe it was the play. I don't fucking know. But I auditioned for it, and I like wanted to play like the younger brother or something like that. And I was like really, really young. I think at that point I was probably like 4 or 5. Like I was like, it was like baby. And I think they were like hesitant to have like a 5-year-old in like their like main stage like show or whatever. And I remember like I got up there to do the audition, and the scene that they wanted me to read was like a scene from the movie, but the lines they wanted me to read were like a completely different character. And I just like got up there, and I literally just didn't say anything. You bombed.
I bombed, but also I was like, why are you guys making me read for something that like I don't want to read for?
Well, sometimes you kind of have to take what they give you and then build repertoire.
Well, like I was 4. So
yeah,
like,
you had no idea.
I had no fucking clue. But yeah, it was funny. But I think like, I don't know, they just like never put me in anything. I feel like I like.
How many years
they wouldn't
did
even
you
let me
try?
audition. I never auditioned.
Why wouldn't they let you audition?
I don't know.
It seems weird.
I think I know Chattanooga Theater Center, please don't come for me. I'm sure you're not listening to this.
Absolutely not.
I'm not listening to this, but yeah, I don't come for me. I'm sorry, but like you guys should have like put me in like a musical, because like I fully deserved that. But
I feel like there needs to be a little bit more opportunity for kids to kind of exercise this type of, skill.
Yeah.
I remember when I was younger, I went to Allen Elementary and Saudi Daisy. And okay, so first of all, let's talk about how we met. So you kind of grew up in Chattanooga for a little while.
Yeah.
And I was flying from Dallas to Chattanooga for Christmas. And George was sitting next to me on the plane, and we didn't talk the whole ride.
But you offered me gum at the beginning. I was like, oh no.
Oh, I forgot about that. I'm so nice.
And then I actually have to tell you something.
What?
I was like sitting there, and then I kept like thinking that I was hearing the song Young and Beautiful by Lana Del Rey. And I was like looking around, I was like, who has Young and Beautiful playing on full blast on their phone? And then I like kind of like tuned my ears slightly, like towards you and I was like, this girl is playing Young and Beautiful in her AirPods right now. I was like, I don't know who this
Cringe.
is, but I like feel like I need to talk to her. And then,
Yeah.
but like I like can't talk to people. Like I just like can't. And then when you started talking to me, I was like, oh my God, wait, yay. Like,
Yeah, it was at the luggage line, but I was like, okay, someone who's like a younger person coming from Dallas going to Chattanooga.
like what's going on?
I was like, what's going on? Like, I got to talk to this person in the luggage line and see like if they're living in Dallas and they're connected to Chattanooga. It'd be cool to like have someone that was connected to both. But you just had a flight layover in Dallas.
Yeah.
But you were coming from LA.
Correct.
At what age did you move to LA?
I was 8.
You were 8 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that was when I...
With your parents.
Mm-hmm.
And so you went to LA with your parents.
Yeah.
Why did they take you to LA?
I think like my mom was just like, I think she just kind of realized that like I wouldn't really be like happy there. And like Chattanooga is very different now than like it was over a decade ago, like in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking a decade ago, that's when I started college.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think after the pandemic, Chattanooga has changed a bit.
Yeah. I think it definitely, I think it's changed a lot. Like I think for the better. Like I think that it's definitely like growing up a lot. But I think like back then, like I think she just knew. I think she was like this, like my kid's not going to like have a good life here. And she like very selflessly, I think, sort of, we like packed up and we like drove across country and started this journey. But I don't think that she would have done it if she hadn't seen like more than just the acting side. Like I think she also saw like I was writing too. Like I was doing all those things, and I think that she felt compelled to like get me out of there.
I imagine. I mean, I'm so impressed by how many roles you took on in this film. I mean, first of all, being 18, having a world premiere in London of your first feature film, correct?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's so well produced.
Thank you.
You put such a huge team together at this age. Mm-hmm. It's a film by you. You directed it. You acted in it. You wrote songs for it. You performed a song. You sing. I mean, I was so impressed. I was like, just thinking back when I was 18 and like 10 years ago, how much of a fucking idiot I was.
I still feel like a fucking idiot like the majority of the time.
Well, I mean, to have accomplished the things that you've accomplished at this age right now. And I'm sure it has a lot to do with your parents like taking you to a place and really helping you cultivate your desires.
They definitely like educated me, or definitely like made sure that like I saw a lot and like saw a lot of the world and like really like got it. That I just like got it. If that makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, is there any life experience you've had in LA, just like, working in different, I know you've done like working in shows and little extra stuff. Is there anything that you've done that has, taught you a big life lesson?
I think Blue Rose is the biggest life lesson. Like, I think I mean, I've learned a lot. There are a lot of things that I would never do again, and a lot of choices that I think that I made that like I look back on and I'm like, probably shouldn't have done that. Not that those things come through in the final product of the film, but I think just like emotionally, like looking back on the past like few years that like this project has been, festering. And it's interesting because I was asked yesterday, like, when did you finish the film? And I was like, is it ever really finished? I was like, I think today the film finishes. I was like, tonight the film, like the night people see it and like people,
there's no going back.
People like log their reviews on Letterboxd. Like, yeah, like it's like.
I need to write that down. I'm going to write a review for you.
I've literally been like, this is embarrassing. I've been like obsessively checking it, which I like shouldn't do. But they're like, but they're like primarily positive, which is like good. I think the only like critique or the only like main thing is people are like saying like stuff about like, that it feels very like copycat David Lynch, which like I understand, but like, girl, be so fucking serious. Like David Lynch is not doing like gay ass shit, and like it's not nearly as colorful as what we're doing. And I think people were saying that during the intro, I was comparing myself to David Lynch, which hi, George Barron here, going on the record saying I would never actively fucking compare myself to David Lynch at all, because that would be bonkers of me to fucking do. I just think I think what people aren't really understanding is that his films were kind of like the gateway for me that felt like I could tell the types of stories that I wanted to tell. Because I was always I was always writing like weird fucking shit that I always felt like people were like patting me on the head about and being like, okay, write a comedy or write like a straight horror. It would give you
permission.
It gave me permission because like I saw Blue Velvet for the first time and I was like, oh my God, like you can make these weird movies. And then I like just like fell down
psychological thrillers.
Yeah, I like fell down like the Lynch rabbit hole and I was like, okay,
it's a style that you can emulate. I don't think there's a problem with that. And if I can give you any word of advice, don't worry so much about what these people are saying.
I know,
but it's so easy.
It's so easy, but also like there's a part of me that's like, you make a movie and then get back to me.
Exactly.
Make a fucking movie and then critique me because I'm not like, I don't want to hear.
Well, I mean, the bigger that you get and the bigger that the films you make are, the more you're going to hear people say bullshit.
Absolutely,
and I mean, even the biggest feature films out there, they get very highly criticized.
Absolutely.
And
no. I don't want to like make it sound like the film is, getting negative.
It's not, but you could have 10 positive remarks and one negative.
Like
the one negative ruins your whole entire.
Which is isn't that dumb?
It's so crazy that it's human nature.
But no, I mean overall, like since last night, like the response has been very, very positive. I'm very shocked in a way and grateful and just I think I'm happy, which is good. So
you think you're happy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing you'll learn as the creative process goes on is like you have to ignore it because it's been also important. I mean, I have around 9-10 years more than you, but I still like if I don't get a certain amount of, reviews or downloads or comments or whatever, I start to feel like, oh, my work is trash and I put my value.
Yeah, because you value yourself so heavily in the opinion of others.
Yeah.
Like, and I think it's just like an artist's thing in general.
Yeah.
Or just a creative person's like you put a lot of your self-worth in the validation of others, which like you can't do, but we still do it.
It's so true. And I'm trying to practice this thing. It's like when I put something out, I'll promote it the same way. I'll do all that. But I'm just, I'm not going to actively look every day and check to see like how it's being received and just creating to create,
Yeah, absolutely.
I think creating is such a beautiful process and it's so fulfilling, and for it all to be discounted due to somebody's criticism, it's all a growing journey. And I think that you said that there's so many things that you learned that you wouldn't do again doing this film, and you would never know that unless you
had done it the first time.
Unless you had done it.
And I think that's just going to continue to happen.
Exactly.
Over the course of
your style and your taste and your, technical skills are going to evolve and they're going to change, and you're going to have stylistic eras in a way. Yeah. And in 10 years from now, what you're creating.
And then I can do my eras tour.
Oh my gosh.
I'll go on tour.
Okay.
And recreate all of the eras of my films.
I'm a secret Taylor Swift lover.
I'm also a secret Taylor Swift lover.
She's my guilty pleasure. And I love her too. Everyone loves her. And like people who shame me about it, I'm like, fuck you.
I'm over it. I think the Taylor Swift like slander and like the Taylor Swift like, I think hating Taylor Swift is like so 2010, 2011. Like I'm just like over it. I'm like, grow up. Yeah. If you're still out here being like, Taylor Swift, like, shut the fuck up.
Her songs are great. She's very talented. She's a great performer.
I fuck with her so hard.
I fuck with her really hard. I think she's super cool too. You heard it here first.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm like an unapologetic Swiftie. Like,
well, I think the biggest beef.
Do I own any Taylor Swift merch? Absolutely not. But do I like? Do
I have dance parties for a whole day in my house alone to Taylor Swift? Yes.
Do I perform like an entire Eras tour set for my dog at 3:00 in the morning? Yes. I do. What are you talking about? Like,
oh my
with
God.
like choreo and everything.
Oh my gosh! Literally me. I had one of those days before I came to Berlin. I had to like pack and everything. And I was just like, probably anyone who was listening to this and saw the Instagram stories, you saw all my videos. But I was like just fucking the whole day, like doing yard work, doing everything, going to painting parties with my friends and just fucking up Taylor Swift the whole time.
Love Tay-Tay.
Sometimes I just need my day of Tay-Tay. My Tay-Tay day.
Do you have like a favorite Tay-Tay song or like a top like Tay-Tay album or like top like, what's the vibe?
I would have to like look up on Spotify, but I would say like Cruel Summer just gets me hard every time.
Wait. Okay. Wait.
Let's
Okay.
see. Taylor
This is
Swift.
really, really important.
This is so important. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay, can I say something? Like, I really, really, really loved Midnights. Like, I think that it was so fucking good. Like,
Yeah, Lover or
Midnights.
Midnight?
Like, kind of obsessed with it. I thought it was great. It was
Midnight's the album.
yeah.
Lavender Haze. I mean, yes.
It's just like bop after bop after bop.
I mean,
like,
how does she make so many bops? Like,
I don't know.
It's almost like everyone hates, what's that band called? I'm not going to be able to tell you. It's like, you know that Rockstar song? Everyone hates. Okay, I'm not going to be able to remember, but
I think my like top like 2 or 3 like favorite Tay Tay songs are probably I Think He Knows from Lover, and then also I really love Enchanted and Better Than Revenge from Speak Now. So like
I feel like you're more well versed than I am on all this, because I will just play her discography and I'll know every single word to every single song. But when it comes to
like
reciting the titles, I
like,
cannot.
Yeah. But I am a Lana stan till like the day I die. Like that woman could like
Lana Del Rey.
Yeah. She could like run over a gaggle of orphans with a bus, and I would be like, oh, she's okay. Like she's fine.
She's canceled everybody, but never canceled. It's kind of like separating the music from the artist.
I love her. I don't care. I think that she's incredible.
I do fuck with some mainstream artists. Like I love Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
I like
Miley.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot. We're both Tennessee girls, and so like
we both grew up in Tennessee.
I feel that camaraderie with Miley.
Yeah, definitely. She grew up in Nashville. We're from Chattanooga,
way on down the Chattahoochee River.
Yeah, hell yeah. So okay, we're both queer, and in the film there was the main character girl, and she was talking about her friend by the bed.
Girl, that's not her friend.
I know. Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. Was this because she was like saying it's her friend?
Lily is canonically a lesbian. Like
because she gave the girl
absolutely a lesbian.
She gave the maid some eyes, and I was like,
oh, okay. So like, fun fact: there were a lot of people who have been like following this film like since the beginning, and I said a lot of things. Hi. Once again, George Barron here, coming to make another public statement on my controversies. I made a lot of statements early on in the production process that I thought would wind up in the final product of the film that actually didn't. Anyway, I'm going to just spoil things. Actually, well, it's not really a spoiler because it doesn't happen anymore. But the reason that those eyes with Keo happened was because the whole last act of the film, there was an entire plotline cut out of the movie, which was Lily and Keo together in the asylum running around doing shit. And like they had like a full on like makeout scene in like a pink bathroom.
Oh, I wish that would have been in there. Why wasn't that in there?
Producers.
And they both agreed against it.
They were like, it's dragging the story down and it's making the movie too fucking long. Which like I kind of like I agree with. I was like watching the movie last night and I was like, have you seen those memes where it's like people watching Family Guy on their phones and they're like, movie long as hell? Like that was me. Like I was watching the movie, I was like, this movie's like kind of fucking long. Like I'm so fucking over this fucking movie.
Well, I mean,
but also I've seen it like a million times, so
Yeah, I think that's how I feel. Like if I listen back to like watching one of my vlogs or something like that, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
But I mean, you just gotta just put it out there and move on. You learn something from each one, and.
But yeah. To answer your question, like yes, Lily is like full-fledged lesbian, like. Yes. Absolutely. And like Dalton's got his own shit going on in like so many aspects.
Well, I wanted to bring up how you had Ray Wise on.
Daddy.
Your daddy. Daddy Ray Wise.
Yeah.
Because he was in Twin Peaks.
Yes, he was.
How did you make a relationship with him?
The script was sent to him and he read it and he loved it. Aww. And I was like, what the fuck, right? And we got him on the movie. He shot for like one day.
Yeah.
Because,
it was just a short scene.
A short scene. But what was really cute and really fun was he was like, can I be in the rest of it? He was like, can I be in the rest of it? I was like, Ray, we can't afford you. What are you talking about? But I had like an idea for like a post-credit scene with Ray, but we didn't get around to like doing it. But it would have been like kind of funny. I don't know. I
like how you pulled in you and your detective mate. What was her name again?
Lily.
You two were very comedic.
Yeah.
During the psycho thriller type nutcase
Yeah.
storyline, and I liked how you like brought in the comedy as these like two cute. It had like a Nancy Drew type silliness about it.
Yeah,
like it
for
was very
sure.
innocent and pure and just cute and funny. But at the same time, all this like psychological, crazy, weird shit's going on. How did you, I mean, what was it like casting? Because this was probably your first time casting for a film, and like you had all of these actors on there, which were incredible. I was like super impressed by your little group of friends, and I randomly sat up there on the balcony. I didn't know everyone was sitting up there, and yeah, ended up sitting with the whole cast during the movie. But
Oh, yeah, I saw you up there. I was like, why are you up here?
yeah, well, I just like kept walking up the stairs, and because I couldn't find a door to go in, and then I just made it up to the top, and I walked in, I saw.
And you were like, I'm just going to sit wherever.
I saw your two people that you introduced me to, and it was the co-producer and her wife.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that they were part of the film. They didn't tell me until I was up there. I just kind of saw them sitting alone. I was like, oh, hey, is it okay if I crash your party? Because, you know, I briefly met them.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, the whole cast is coming up there to sit. And I was,
like, oh no.
I was like, oh shit, I didn't mean to like crash this party because I didn't even know there was a seat number or anything. I just, yeah. So I ended up there.
I had like a special seat for you, like down, like right in the middle, like.
Oh, really?
Full view. But...
Oh, yeah. I didn't even look at the ticket. I was just like looking how to get inside the building, and I get a little sick being close to the front anyway. So it ended up working out well being at the balcony.
Yeah, perfect.
But yeah, it was nice to sit with the cast too. I mean, that felt special. It was interesting to hear them all like reacting to different parts of the movie too, because you could see how invested they were in the whole thing.
Yeah.
So tell me a bit about the casting process.
Yeah, casting process. I think that like I have to hand it to our casting director. Her name is Michelle Lewitt. She casted like a Transformers movie and then casted like my movie. I'm like, girl, what are you doing? She loved the script. Like she loved the film. I was like, thank you, Michelle. And she like found a lot of wonderful people for us. I'm trying to think like some people like I already knew were going to be in the movie. Like I wanted to be in the film. I had like written Dalton for myself, and Sophie Cooper's character Delilah, creepy smile girl, and then also Brooke Nesbitt's character Daphne, yellow hair. Those parts were both written for those actors. And so those people like I already knew I like wanted on the film. And then like other people we just like had, we either like made offers to people or like we like auditioned folks. And yeah, I think it was just like a pretty normal like standard like casting process. Like nothing like really exceptional or special happened other than of course like the exceptional special actors that like we had audition. But yeah, no, I mean there wasn't anything like super like I guess like noteworthy about like casting it. I don't know.
I feel like it'd be fun to do casting. I mean, was there any
fun?
I feel like, yeah, because you're like, you can be inspired by the people and be like, oh my gosh, that's my girl or that's my guy. And I feel like, were there any like American Idol fuck ups and things like that where you're just like, oh my gosh, I feel so uncomfortable right now. This is terrible.
Well, luckily, all of the tape, it was all self-taped.
Okay.
So like there was no in-person like anything.
Okay.
I probably couldn't even like done that just for like anxiety purposes. But Michelle, our casting director, would sift through like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds
of
auditions. And then she would pick like 50 of the best ones or 20.
For all characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she'd send them to me and I would watch like her opinion of like what the best of the best were. And I would watch those. And it's like kind of hard. And I'm like glad that I did, but it was like really hard for me to like kind of like trust her with that like she knew what she was doing and like
and saw your vision.
Yeah. Cause like I'm such a perfectionist, like as I'm sure you can tell from the film, like it's very detail oriented and like that's like the smallest details are very important to me. But I think like, yeah, I was just like nervous. I was like, oh my God, what if like she misses someone who is blows me away, who's like is, and I was just like, I just have to like
trust it. I mean, even if you pull out 50 out of a few hundred of them, I think you're gonna get a good lot, you know, to choose from. And you got to spend your time wisely too, like taking on so many roles in the film.
Oh yeah, I was doing everything, so I'm just like whew.
Tired.
Can
we talk a little bit about the funding process?
No.
No? Okay.
Secret, I can't tell you.
Okay. And But you said it was a low budget film.
We were like a micro budget film.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we had no money.
But you made it work.
We made it work. We literally didn't have like anything. Like it was very, very small. And I think a lot of people think that the film was much more expensive than it was.
Yeah, it was
And
a very well produced. There seemed like a lot of very good
not.
locations.
Yeah, I mean, there were great locations. Like everything was fine, but also we were like very ambitious. And also I think like
sometimes you can just reach out to people.
Yeah, but like also I think we did a lot more work than I think the average like film or like person would have done for the size of our production. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one day I would like to start practicing theater again now that I'm a little bit older and more comfortable in my skin. And I feel like it would be really fun to do like a little short film or any type of, just acting on a camera just to do it. And I feel like it's a really cool way to performing. If you're able to take on different characters and transform yourself into different people, and you get comfortable enough to do that in front of groups of people watching you, filming you, you're able to replicate that in the professional world and maybe talking to a crowd of people. And I would love to learn that skill and also just enjoy the process of being part of a film, because it seemed like you and your created such a camaraderie and such a strong like bond together because of going through this together.
I'd like to think that everybody had a fun time. So
what were you looking for during the casting? So say like if I wanted to audition for a film and I'm sending in my tape, like what kind of things are you looking for when you were choosing your characters?
So if you had sent in a tape for Blue Rose, I would have probably have either like pinned you for Catherine, the singer in the club, or Rose, the like girl with the black hair in the bath who like stood.
Oh yeah, I liked her character. Yeah. I mean, she was more quiet. She didn't really have much to say during the whole thing, but just mostly during the time where the baby.
I don't know. I think like I just like people's faces. Like I look at people's faces and there's like certain facial features that
it's the look just, like, a lot of times, because a lot of people can learn that to act the part.
Yeah, no, for me, I think it's the look all of the time, because like the film is so visual.
Yeah.
And like we rely so heavily on these heavy-handed aesthetics and these heavy-handed visuals, almost to like once again, hi, George Barron. People on Letterboxd or Twitter don't say that I'm comparing myself to another famous director, but almost in like a Tim Burton style way, where all of his like actors look similar. Like they've all kind of got this like vibe to them.
They just have this weirdo type vibe.
Yeah. And so I think like that's...
But it's like an unconventional beauty as well.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. Like when Danielle Basutti last night came up to you and she like touched your face and she's like, oh, you look like a 1920s movie star.
Oh yeah.
Stuff. I'm like, yeah.
That was super sweet. I was like, coming from you, my gosh, you're a gorgeous woman. You are all woman.
She is all woman.
She is all woman. Like she just embodies womanhood right there.
Yeah. She's like the woman.
Yeah, I talked to her mom. I sat next to her mom, and I was like, oh, it must be so cool to watch, your daughter like on the TV. She's like, yeah, I'm used to it. I mean, she's on all these TV shows and stuff like that. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, dude, like she's used to it. I mean, I'd be like cheering my daughter on, be like, yeah, fuck yeah, that's my girl up there.
Last night we went to karaoke, and
where? At Sheba?
No, at the Fright Fest does these like after parties at the Phoenix Artist Club.
Yeah.
And we were there for karaoke, and I had put down Ultraviolence by Lana Del Rey to sing at the karaoke, and they closed before they got to my slot. And I was ready. I was so ready.
I loved karaoke. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
how late were you out?
I did not get back. I don't think I went to bed last night until like 4:45 in the morning.
Oh my gosh, Georgie.
Yeah.
You little sinner. But I mean, come on. We out here. You're in London.
That's what I've been saying 18. This whole weekend. I mean, like we out here, like I have nothing.
Just enjoy yourself.
Yeah. I'm
and
just
enjoy the freedom, because back in the US, you can't go out like this.
No, I know.
So enjoy the freedom. It's
like I can.
It's like, why can't I just be European?
Don't tell anybody, but I can.
Yeah, I mean, I
find my ways.
I found my ways too back in the day. I mean, I did.
But also, like, I just don't I don't drink really. Mm-hmm. But like here, absolutely.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know
when
what
in
it is.
Rome, like,
When in
you
Rome,
have to.
and also I don't know. It's like I feel like I have hangovers here, but it's like a lot less mentally disturbing than in US. I feel like I'm much more mentally disturbed when I'm in the US, and here I feel a lot more free. And
How long are you in Europe for?
until the end of September.
Oh,
So I'll be in
cool.
Berlin the whole time, but might pop over to Berlin. I might pop over to Portugal for a little bit.
Slay.
Slay.
Oh my God, so bad.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends there, so it would be nice to.
I'd love to shoot a movie there.
It's so beautiful. That on film.
There's like a palace there. I think it's like
Palacio de Pena.
No, it's pink.
Pink?
Yeah, it's like a beautiful palatial estate, and it's pink.
I think I've seen a picture of it.
It's gorgeous. Anyway, there's like that, and there's like, what is that like? It's like an initiation cave or some shit, and it's like a spiral like staircase that goes deep down into the crust of the earth, and then it's like marble sundial at the bottom, and you look up and it looks like you're like in the rabbit hole in Alice in Wonderland. Like, it looks incredible.
That would be so amazing to film.
Yeah. So I've got like, I would love to shoot a movie there.
Yeah,
Like,
I think you should. I think Portugal has amazing architecture, has amazing landscape and light. The light is so beautiful.
It seems like a mishmash of a lot of different architectural styles. And I find that very interesting. I would love to spend some time there. I think I'd really like it.
There's a really interesting story about Portugal. They had a tsunami there that pretty much in the 1700s, there was an earth. Okay, so craziest day of fucking history. So there was the day of candles where they were lighting all the candles all over the city for a Catholic holiday. And then there was an earthquake and it shook all the candles. So the whole city was on fire. So everyone ran down to the river that's right next to the ocean and ran to the square to like be away from all the fire. And then from that earthquake, a tsunami came and then killed everyone in the square.
What the fuck?
And they called Campolide the area of, that God saved, because anyone who was in Campolide, it's like up on a hill, survived. And so the king had to rebuild the whole city in the 1700s. And that's why they have all the red roofs. And that's why it's so, because they needed to rebuild fast. So it was kind of like, they did like an IKEA shit where they're like, build your own homes. And they really structured it in a way to focus into that square. And everything's kind of like very quartered and sectioned off. And it's very clear lines and everything. But
that's fucking crazy.
It's a crazy day in history, right?
I would love to go to Portugal. I think I should try to plan a trip.
Yeah, you should. I lived in a little beach town south of there called Costa Caparica. And that's probably where I'd visit if I went. So you're going back to Tennessee?
Yes.
And okay, you have your second script written.
Yeah.
And
I'm like obsessed with it. Like, I can't stop thinking about it. Like, I'm supposed to see other films today, but like there's a part of me that like I'm almost done with it. Like, there's a part of me that just like wants to like sit down and like power out the like last 10
Well, if you're feeling inspired, I would say just go for it.
I really want to go see these movies.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Maybe sometimes watching the films too give you a little bit more insight and inspiration as well.
I just love seeing like other filmmakers like work, and I love film festivals, and like Fright Fest has been so much fun, and like I just like I love it here. I don't know. It's been cool. Yeah, I'm just like happy.
Yeah, I mean, especially just being in London, being in Europe and flying around the world. It's just so fun.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one. It's not related to the film, but just one question I have. Are you happy? You can be honest.
No, yeah. I think when I think about that question, I always kind of like, I think about that. I think about when Marilyn Monroe was asked that question, and she very like, in like a very melancholic tone, she repeats the question, and she goes, do I feel happy in life? And I think that in this moment, like in this time, like I think if anything, I'm proud. Like, I'm proud of the work that I did. Like, I'm happy to be here. I've been having a really, really, really fun time. But I think that happiness is, I think like most artists probably just like generally like struggle with like mental health in general. Some definitely like more than others. Yeah. I don't know.
What does happiness mean to you at this moment in your life? Maybe in a few years, you might look back at this podcast to see like the growth you went through and everything. what is something you would say to your future self about where you are now and where you want to be? What do you hope for yourself?
I just hope that I get everything worked out. Like, I just hope like I find stability, because I feel very much like my life is not like stable. Like, I feel very nomadic and I feel very disjointed at them. Like, I'm trying to find something I can like fully grasp onto, or like a place to like settle at the moment. Cause like right now I'm in Tennessee, and sometimes I'm in LA, and like sometimes I'm in New York. And, you know, I've had a lot of just like life changes lately that have been like really just like weird and like hard and difficult, like family changes and relationship changes, and just like I feel like a lot of the things that I thought
were permanent
and like were the most stable things that I had in my life wound up completely like not being that anymore. And it's just like really, I think, jarring. I think that I would say that I'm content. I wouldn't say I'm like bursting at the seams happy. I'm so happy like about this film and like all of this. Like, I'm happy about like all of these like things, but I think like if we're looking in like an introspective, like real deep thing, I like don't know if I have like a full answer to that. And I think the second film that I'm writing right now is definitely like my most personal thing that I've like ever written. Like, I'm really laying my heart out like on the line, and like really like letting people know how I feel about certain things, and like the way that I see the world, and like things that I like. It's very like Blue Rose was like fun, and like it was like cool and like silly, and
but
like,
it's your first experience.
Yeah, no,
it's
but
like my first podcast.
Yeah.
You know, it's like how much things have evolved since then.
It definitely feels like this script it's like similar to Blue Rose, like thematically. But I think that you can tell that it was written by somebody who has seen a lot more shit and gone through a lot more like pain since their previous work.
Yeah. So there's a quote that I saw. It was like, "Thank you for the tragedy. I needed it for my art."
Yeah.
And I think that going through tragedy and going through painful experiences, although are awful and disturbing to go through in the moment, they create a depth inside of us that allows us to connect to our inner self more. And when you connect to your inner self more, you can be more creative. And yeah, I can see that. That's why I'm like, I can't wait to see you in 10 years, because you said you're going to keep the same visual aspect and themes. But I think you see that in a lot of directors, where they'll keep a similar energy, a similar aesthetic, and a similar visual color theme, but they'll change the story, they'll change the content, and then you have a director style. And you also see that with painters too. You know, they'll create a series, a style, and then they'll just keep creating more art out of that same style, and seeing how many things that they could create within this framework.
Absolutely. I think that like pain like definitely like breeds art in a way. And like there's like a part of me also like when writing the script, because it is so personal and a lot of the characters in it are like based on like people in my life, and like also like the things that I talk about are like very much like talking about like very personal experiences. And there's like a part of me that's like, is this like, I don't want to piss anybody off, like maybe I shouldn't like air out, you know, people's business or like dirty laundry, but like I'm not like saying like this is who this is like, you know, like,
well, you see all these singer-songwriters write all these songs, and the reason why people connect so hard to that music is because it's true and authentic, and even though the person knows that it's about them, doesn't necessarily mean everyone else will. So I just would say express yourself, make your art, and use whatever tragedy and experiences that you go through, whether you're the one inflicting it or another inflicting it on you. That reflection can really transpire into very beautiful work.
I agree.
So what are some things that you would change from the first film to the second film? Like, what are some like technical things that you learned?
I'd love to shoot on film for the next one.
You were not shooting on film, you were digitally shooting? It had a filmy look.
Thank you. We shot on like a really cool like lens from like the 60s that was like radioactive or something like that. And if you slept with it underneath your pillow, like you would totally die from like radiation.
Shit. Were everyone wearing protective headgear and shit?
No. It was only if you like literally like if you like,
slept on it,
rubbed it on your skin or something like insane like that. Like,
wow, that's kind of crazy.
So yeah, it was like this like old lens from the 60s that we shot on. And I think our like colorist and our like color correction people in post-production like added like film grain to it just so it like had that very like crisp 50s look to it. But like next time, like I want to shoot on like real, like you're watching and you're like, oh, this is like shot on like some serious film. Like I want to see the grains, like I want to see the pops, like I want to see like all of that.
Yeah. I had a podcast guest named Justin Case, and I think he was episode 10, and he shoots film, and the stuff that he shoots is so moody and dreamy, and that's my aesthetic for Buried Dreams. It's like very moody, dreamy, and I would love to one day like shoot some promotional stuff with a film director.
Absolutely.
And use film. I mean, it just creates such a color. An energy.
I shot a music video on Super 8 one time.
How did you learn film? You just picked it up or what?
Like I bought a film camera and then I bought Super 8 film stock and I popped it in the camera and I just hit record and started recording. I was like, here we go. The video turned out great. It's a cute video.
Is it expensive to do?
Kind of, to get it like processed and like,
how much
digitized.
Would you? Okay, say I shot like 2 minutes film, because I think it would be super fun. I'm thinking about
like it's like a couple $100, I think.
Yeah, I'm thinking about asking Justin if I can shadow him, just because I like to dabble in all different types of creative stuff. I would say I can relate to you in that regard because, I want to try acting, podcasting, painting.
I didn't know you wanted to do acting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's my buried dream. I mean, podcasting was a buried dream, but acting.
Oh my God, wait. I feel like I need to say what my buried dream is as well.
Oh yeah, that's like the whole premise of the podcast is at the end I ask the guests. I'm really glad that you brought that up because I totally forgot, which is crazy because that's my whole podcast. But
title.
What is your buried dream?
Walt Disney Imagineer.
A Disney Imagineer.
Yeah.
So
that's my buried dream. That's like my like
working for Disney and helping them create concepts for shows and movies.
For like rides and like theme park attractions and stuff. Like I want to come up with that. I want to come up with like ideas for like lands and stuff, and I want to like help design shit.
Well, I think you could totally do that eventually.
I don't think I want to work for Disney, but
why Disney? I mean, what makes you want to do that?
I like Disney. I'm a Disney boy.
You're a Disney boy? I've never been to Disney World. I've never been to Disneyland. I know. My parents.
That's like my whole childhood.
Never took us there. I always wanted to go. We went to Orlando and we drove outside of it and we're like, oh, that's Disney World, and went to the water park. Well, we went to see what's it called? The SeaWorld, unfortunately.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Y'all went to SeaWorld, but y'all didn't go to...
I know. Am I canceled? Hey.
Yeah.
Back then, there wasn't... I don't think the documentary was out yet.
The documentary was out yet. But yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be so like fun to like come up with like fun rides at Disney. Like,
I think any sort of creative direction where you get to be imaginative and create a story and create an experience, I think that really fills my cup. Like I love doing like little photo shoots for Buried Dreams because I can come up with, okay, this is the type of aesthetic that I'm looking for. And then I get to work and collaborate with another artist and bring this vision to life. And then like seeing the after photos and seeing how wonderful that they came out. And you're just like high on this creation.
Yeah.
It's such addictive experience. I mean, I just want to keep doing more and more, and it like opens up more and more doors for me. And yeah.
So that's my buried dream.
Is there any
working for the mouse?
Working for the old mouse, huh? I can't wait for them to bring Walt back to life. Walter.
I do not think that that's true. I don't believe that for a second.
He's definitely frozen.
No, that man is dead.
He's dead, but he's frozen.
He's not frozen.
They stored him somewhere.
No way.
They stored him in the park, and they're going to bring him back to life.
Don't believe it.
Don't. don't,
I can't,
George.
like,
Stop.
sorry.
You're like telling me Santa Claus isn't real, and I'm triggered.
I didn't find out Santa Claus was real until I was like 11.
No. I mean, did you go to public school? Like, come on.
No.
You didn't go to public school? You were homeschooled because you're working in the arts.
I went to like a weird school.
That's probably why you're so weird, George.
I went to like a weird school that was like for like kids in the industry or like shit like that. Like I went to like a fucking weird school when I was like in elementary and middle school, and it was
Did you learn enough?
hell on earth. Hell on earth. Awful, awful, awful.
Why so awful?
It was a terrible fucking school. If anybody is listening to this podcast who knows what school I'm talking about, I will not name drop them out of like just like general fear, because they don't fucking scare me. Fuck those guys. But
they're gonna come for you and ruin your career.
Terrible fucking school in LA in the Valley, and it's like a school for like child actors. Just imagine like what the fuck that would be like. Like all the stage moms, all the child actors.
Fantasyland.
The like fucking like principal and like the fucking like vice assistant, front desk.
There's probably so much money
principal.
running through there too.
Probably like front desk, vice assistant, principal. Like they all fucking wanted to be actors, and like now they're fucking like working at a school for like child actors. Like it's like get fucking serious. I got in trouble all the fucking time at that school because I was like a full on like nonconformist anarchist child when I was like in elementary school and like early middle school. And like just like did not fucking like I didn't adhere to their bullshit. Like I was like I'm not doing this. Like I wasn't here for it. And then I like left. I was asked to leave. I was a problem.
I mean, what kind of shit would you do? Just being like
I think I would
behaviorally-
just like speak my mind about things. Or I would be very vocal about like things that I didn't like. And like I don't know. I never identified with the respect your elders thing. Like I was like, if you're fucking mean to me, like I'm going to be 10 times worse to you. Like if you're like being disrespectful, like to anybody, I don't care if they're like a child or if they're an adult, like you deserve the exact same amount of disrespect back, if not worse. It's just my personal opinion. I know that that's controversial, but
I don't think it's controversial. I think even adults should treat children with respect.
Absolutely.
And you know, I probably had my fair share of that experience when I was in middle school and high school, elementary school. Like there was one teacher that would make her kids cry every single day. Like kids would be crying, holding the door open for the other kids going in, and teachers are fucking mean to me.
I think people get in that profession for like the wrong reason sometimes. But what I will say is that my high school experience was incredible. Had a great time. Went to a completely different school. Had wonderful teachers. Like literally, like so.
Like a private school?
Yeah, it was a private school. Because like I just like get distracted in like a classroom, and it was like one-on-one teaching. It was great. I had a great time. And had like super cool teachers. I had a wonderful film teacher named Mark who showed me a lot of, you know, older films that I have definitely like been influenced and inspired by. And I had a great like high school experience, but like elementary school and middle school was like rough for me.
Yeah. So in this, do you feel like you learned enough like growing up, or do you feel like there's more for you to learn?
Academically, no, I'm done. I'm not fucking.
You're not doing it anymore?
I'm not picking up another book. Not like a book,
but like a textbook.
Like a textbook. I'm not picking up a textbook.
Yeah,
I read. I swear.
Keep reading, George. Don't stop reading.
I read. Actually, there's like a book here somewhere. I've been reading I'm on a like Black Dahlia murder kick, and so I've been like reading like a shit ton of like books about like Elizabeth Short and like the Black Dahlia and like the Hodel family and shit like that.
I think it's really good to always like be ingesting any sort of content, creative content, because I think, you know, I don't think you can just sit in a white room with no windows and just sitting there forever and be creative. I think you need to go out and you need to go to like a market where you can look at different art pieces, or go to a gallery, or go see some films, or read some screenplays, or go see a play, or I mean, just go out there and have like a little date with yourself and see other creative content, ingest other content, because it really makes you create neural pathways in your head that are unique, and you can create something from that.
I agree.
So in your high school, you did a lot of your classes were focused around the arts, or did you do a lot of liberal
I think like
art?
those were like extracurriculars. Yeah.
We didn't have any of that kind of stuff.
My extracurriculars were yoga and film.
Yoga and film?
Yoga and film were like my two like extracurriculars in high school.
Yeah. Do you think you'll continue acting in your future films?
Yeah, probably the next film that I want to make actually really would love to send you the script if you would read it. But
yeah, for sure.
my part is like significantly smaller. Like I think I want to like take at least just with like my directorial work, want to take a step back from like acting in such a big role. But I really really want to act in like something that I have like zero creative influence in. Like I like want to act. Like I like put me in a movie, please, somebody. Like,
so say I want to go out to Los Angeles and I know everyone is like trying to be a movie star out there. It's so saturated.
Yeah, I think a lot of the people in LA walk around thinking that they are famous when they're like not famous at all yet. I think at least when I first moved out, like I think this sort of like stars in your eyes sort of thing is gone now. I think now everybody is like, I already have this, like this is mine, like I'm deserving of this, blah blah blah. Sort of just like this like sense of entitlement that I don't think used to be there like 10 years ago. And also,
there's niche fame.
Like social climbing is just like so prevalent there. I don't know. I like actually I'm like glad that I'm like in Tennessee right now. Like I'm having a nice time. Like I'm having like a nice
People
break.
are more genuine.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll be back in LA at like some point permanently full time. But yeah, I don't know. I want to bounce around, but I also want to find like a stable like place. I was thinking about Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah.
That would be cute.
It'd be super cute. I think there's a lot of little artists living there and it looks pretty European down there.
Yeah. Super cute.
It's super cute.
Also,
take a little break.
Might just pack up and come to Europe. Who knows? I was going to go to New York, but I don't know anymore. But
New York's a really great place. Have you visited? Oh yeah. Oh shit. We met together in New York City. It's a shit. Yeah. After the plane ride to Chattanooga, we both found out that we were
both going to New York at the same time.
Yeah, and so we spent one evening together
at the MoMA.
That's right.
Lovely. And then we went shopping somewhere.
Oh, we went to Buffalo Exchange.
Yeah, and I didn't find anything there that I liked, which was like sad.
Yeah, I want to do some thrift shopping in Berlin.
Really?
Yes. I just love the style there. I feel like walking around London, the style's not that great.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not.
Sorry, like no shade to London. Love
no
you
shade.
guys,
I'm sure there's like little pockets of people. But
like this area, where are you staying?
I'm staying in Elephant and Castle.
Okay.
So
like
across
around
the bridge.
here.
Across the bridge.
Okay. Around here, it's like, girl, what's going on? Also, this is like the really touristy area.
This is the touristy
and like the only
area.
reason I'm like staying in this area is because the festival is like
right down the street. Yeah, you can like walk there in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But I still think it's a good location. You're able to reach all of the monuments and everything. And yeah, I wish I had a little bit more time here. Unfortunately, I'm feeling like really sick, so I'm kind of glad I just booked one night.
Yeah.
But I do like to tour around. I feel like London has this very bricky architecture, and they have really interesting.
I love London. I've been having a great
around.
time.
Yeah, and I think the people are really chatty and nice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of queers here. Queers.
There's
a lot of queers around these woods.
That's funny because I live where I'm like living right now in Tennessee is I live in like a house in a field by the woods. I'm not gonna say where if there's like a murderer listening to this podcast, but like speaking of queers in the woods, like sometimes I just like go I bought these like super cute like floral like gunny sacks vintage like prairie dresses, and sometimes I'll just like go like walk out in the woods and like my dress and like walk down to the creek and just like sit there and like just like hang out.
Who took those photos of you that you sent me for promo materials?
That was Ben Cope, based out of LA.
So cute.
Thank you.
My gosh, they were making my mouth water and my heart flutter. No, not my mouth water. I said my heart melt into the floor, into a big puddle until I passed out and drowned and died in it. Like it was the cutest thing I ever saw in my life.
Thank you.
I can't wait to post the pictures.
They're so fun.
And like you in those little dresses out in the woods, like that was in Chattanooga?
Yeah. Did I post a picture of me in a dress out in the woods?
I saw a picture of you in a dress out in the woods.
Was I like standing like really weird in it, like creepy? Yes, that was in Tennessee.
Aw, East Tennessee is very beautiful for the mountains and the hills and the trees.
I would love to like go up to like Appalachia and like fuck around with like the like Appalachian ghost demons and just see like what's going on up there.
I want to do this really cool promo video of like me running through the woods in this like white Victorian dress, stomping through the water, like, and like something's chasing me, and it's my berry tree. I'm just kidding. No, but I just want to have.
Your dream is chasing you.
Yes, it's chasing after me, but I'm running away because I'm scared. I'm scared.
Same,
I'm so scared, and it's normal.
Yeah.
I was so scared to do the podcast, and here I am. Look at us, just fucking it up.
How many have you done now?
I've done almost 20. So
what is this?
This is going to be published number 17, but this is going to be podcast number 22.
Oh.
That I've done.
Am I getting prioritized? I'm getting moved.
Are you getting moved up?
Yeah.
No. The first 5 I didn't publish because they were so trash. I mean, not the guest, but me.
No, but you. Yeah.
Yeah. The guests were great, but I'm sad that I had like cool artists on there, you know. But I was
just have to redo them.
Yeah, and I did. I redid one of them with Juan Stover, and some other ones I could redo in the future. But I think my interview skills and my technical skills using the soundboard and all that stuff, I was recording everything on one track. So anytime there'd be 2 people dialoguing at the same time, it'd be like, and then you couldn't hear anything. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I loved this. This is so fun.
Yeah, isn't it fun?
Love podcasting.
So what's your next venture?
I have no fucking clue. Just getting, like distribution for the film. We're working on that. We're playing a festival in Austria in October, Fright Nights. If anyone's listening to this in Austria, come see The Blue Rose, because it's a really fucking fun, weird movie. And I hope you'll like it. And when it does actually come out, I hope everyone else will also like it. So yeah.
How do you think it will come out? Will it just be online, or do you think it will get picked up by a streaming service?
I can't tell you what we're planning. It's a secret.
Okay.
It's a buried
secret.
That's my spin-off podcast.
Yeah. Buried
George
Secrets.
Barron, Buried Secrets.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. It was such a pleasure to get to know more about you and your intention behind the film and your just journey as a creative.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Spooky George, except all of the O's are zeros.
And you're George too, right?
Yeah.
George has a 0 or just Spooky?
Oh, Spooky George, but all of the O's in the whole thing are zeros.
Yeah, so you're just all about horror.
I'm all about horror.
Yeah, that means you're fucked up in the brain.
Probably.
No, you're not.
I go to therapy twice a week.
Twice a week? I go once a week.
Damn, girl.
Yeah, I'm less fucked up.
Never.
Once a week?
Go.
You gotta go. I mean, I was doing
out.
an hour and a half therapy for like a year.
Work, yeah.
And then now I just do 1 hour. But I feel good now.
I love therapy. I'm a big therapy advocate. Like, I think when people
therapy.
I think when people shit on therapy, like I'm like,
well, or people say they don't need it. Like,
I don't trust you.
Even though I'm doing mentally well, like having that check-in every week to just like spill my fucking life philosophies on.
Yeah, I don't trust anybody.
We need it. Everyone needs it. Go to therapy.
100%.
All right. Well,
go to therapy.
We love you all. Thank you for listening in, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.